Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God Seeks and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is July the 12th, 2021, and today the topic is focus on me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, y'all almost didn't get a juice this morning, y'all. I'm telling you. Long story short, I do not remember my alarm going off, and when I did wake up and look at my phone, it was 5. So a whole hour, however, I woke up and in my right mind and everything like that, and so here I am. I did do my prayer and meditation, and I gave you this topic today, and I guess I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment, but let me tell you guys about my weekend, y'all. Let me tell you about my weekend. So, y'all know Friday, little man got into some paint, right? Well, here comes Saturday, and he ends up getting into some glue. And I'm like, man, I'm telling you, this little boy, I'm like, what in the world is going on? What is going on? It's funny because I guess technically it was on Papa's watch. Which I can't say nothing because the paint happened on my watch, so no judgment or whatever. At some point it was like he'll be trying to say something. I'm over here like, man, I know you ain't talking, Mr. He got into the seasoning salts on your watch one time. Like, come on, like. The boy gets into stuff on both of our watches. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, needless to say, things around here needs to get spruced up. Yeah. I mean, there's I would say to be a big old stain. I guess my attempt to clean the paint the other day did not go that well because, man, there's this real nice looking stain on the carpet. And the interesting thing is, a week from now, if the Lord's will, I intend to host a dinner party, and I'm over here like, man, I already had to get things together. Now I gotta worry about carpets and whatnot too. So y'all pray for me. We'll see about this dinner party. We'll see about everything. I don't know. I got a week, right? I got a week to try to. Anyway, maybe that's TMI. So that happens Saturday. I will say though, because I gotta shout my boy out, Bro Bites, felt as good on Friday night, and then also felt as good on Saturday night. On his own regard, because it was like I paid him for Friday, and he was like, oh, well, you gave me the bottle, so blah, blah, blah. I'm like, huh? And I'm like, but we didn't say that, though. We didn't agree to do that. And then he's like, well, I'll give you guys dinner tomorrow or something. I'm like, if you want to bring food, I'm never going to say no to you to bring some food. However, you don't have to do it. You could just take the funds. So needless to say, he brought over this really nice Swedish meatball pasta situation for us. He brought a little bit for NJ, but then he made him like a gourmet peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That the bread was like French toast or something. I don't know. We had a little powder sugar sprinkled on. He shared pictures on social media. And I'm like, listen, the boy ain't even gonna want my peanut butter and jelly sandwiches no more because he done had yours. Goodness gracious, he done got gourmet peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was funny because he did ask for one Sunday, and I'm like, nah, you gonna eat. You gonna eat the rest of them leftovers because he didn't eat his little pasta or whatever that night because the sandwich was so big. But anyway, so yeah, that's what he ended up eating yesterday or whatever for dinner or whatever. But man, y'all, so that was a blessing that came on Saturday. I've been trying to talk to Bros Bites because I got an idea in mind. Y'all just pray, you know what I mean? I just hope and pray that things go the way I hope and think because hopefully one way or another I can blessed as I have been blessed. That's what I'm hoping. So we'll see. I mean, maybe I'm telling you all TMI, but these are things that are on my heart and mind, and so yeah. I had to find time to unwind. I know I keep dropping all the businesses, but I mean, I had to find some time to unwind. It's both Saturday and Sunday because, again, with little man being all over the place and this, that, and the other. And then yesterday, I focused a lot of time, which I know is Sabbath. I did kind of Sabbath, but I did kind of work too. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. Be better than me. Be better than me, because like I said, I'll end up go mentally, especially as an entrepreneur and everything like that, trying to do things when I can or whatnot. And so I found myself working on all of the websites yesterday. So if you go to guyssaidsomelove.com, you might see some updates. miracleofwine.com has updates. Unwind Self-Care has updates as well. unwindselfcare.com. So I was working on all that stuff yesterday, so I had to just take a moment, right? I had to give myself some type of moment, because the interesting thing is, I know I have my birthday getaway planned, but it's like my birthday's not coming quick enough. I know my sister was kind of like, she's looking forward to a getaway as well, or looking forward to the getaway, and me too, and it's like, so for me, I have to take time to unwind. That's what I call it. I take time for self-care. And I have a whole group about it. It's called Unwind Self-Care and Sip Spa on Facebook here. Right now, it's dedicated to ladies, but I know men need self-care too, so I'm trying to think about that and think about like what to do in regards to that. But as of right now, the group is catered to, focused on women, and as I remind them to self-care, I'm reminding myself as well. So yesterday, my self-care moment, I ended up lighting a candle. But the thing is, anyway, so like lit candles, had some music going, and took a nice hot shower. So that was my way to kind of refresh and just be like, you know what? This is my woosah. This is my me time. I'm locking the door. Nobody's coming in here right now. This is mommy's time to unwind. And so I was able to do that a little bit yesterday. Then had dinner and whatnot, and then had a moment with my ladies of Unwind. I went live with them and shared with them some information. So that's what was going on yesterday. And that's what pretty much happened this weekend. Some unfortunate news that I did receive over the weekend is that one of my cousins has passed. Her name is Tamika Ross. And I guess this is the thing, life is truly a gift, right? Life is a precious gift that we should not take lightly, and we do, right? And so for me, I guess when it comes to, death, or, and even, these deaths in my family, which again, this is on my mother's side of the family, I guess I want to do what I can while I can. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what motivates me. Well, not the only thing. I don't think it's the only thing that motivates me, but I think perhaps that is one thing that motivates me to do what I do. Because at the end of the day, I don't know, y'all. I guess I understood early on, having lost a parent, you know what I mean, and not getting a chance to know him at all, and everything like that. Maybe, this is why I value life, or look at life the way I do. I thank and praise God for my mom, but I think I've told you guys that she talks about, her preparations and stuff all the time, and it's like, Lord, like, and unfortunately, it makes it cross my mind, that there may be a time that she's not here. There may be a time that I'm not here. There may be a time that, God forbid, that my husband is not here. And, and then when I think about, this particular cousin, knowing that her grandmother, if I'm not mistaken, okay. Because it was interesting because her mom and her sisters, and it's almost like they were all sisters. So that's what I'm trying to make sure I didn't say that wrong. But it was her, because her mother passed last year. That was Pearlie Mae Adams. If you guys have been following me, y'all heard me share about her. So now Pearlie Mae Adams, one of her daughters, have passed. But the interesting thing is, the mother of Pearlie Mae Adams and the grandmother of Tamika Ross is still living. You know what I'm saying? So she has surpassed both of them, which is a blessing, a huge blessing. I want to say she's my mother's oldest sibling. And so and she's still here, and so that is a huge blessing. But see, I guess the thing is, we never know, right? I don't know Tamika's age, and everything like that, and I don't know if that matters. But I'm sure, perhaps, if I think about my aunt, she probably never thought she would surpass her daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, she probably definitely didn't think she was going to surpass her granddaughter. I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know what she's thinking right now. Because they all were, I guess I would say, very close. They all lived together, for quite a while, things like that. So, we just need to value life, y'all. We need to value life. We need to, be grateful and thankful for, the grace and mercy that God gives us every day. And I guess I try my best to do that. That's why I guess I try to go for my goals. I try to go for my dreams. I try to, do what I can when I can, and while I can. I don't want to think about, death and everything like that. I don't want to necessarily, think about those things. But at the same time, it's inevitable, right? Like, these are things that happen, and it doesn't. There's no respect to persons, right? That, you can be young and it happened. You can be old and it happened. You can be mid-age, you could be in your home. You could be, out, I guess doing something that would be considered quote unquote dangerous. Like, it's just one of those things, right? That you can't run away from. I guess at some point, all of us will be at that point, unless it's, when God comes, or if it's just the end for everybody or something like that. But from what I'm understanding, death is something that we all have to experience one day. And so I hope that we're all focused. Look, on God, look. All right then, Lord, you better bring it back to the topic then. So yeah, speaking of that, so my prayer meditation was, and it wasn't necessarily centered around focus on God. I would say it was kind of like talking about, like, that I am loved and things like that, showing that I am safe and everything like that. However, there was a moment that the guide said the words "focus on me," in regards to she was saying to that God was saying this to me, to focus on Him, and that really stood out this morning. So I ended up looking up Bible verses centered around that, and here we are. So John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. Let not your hearts be troubled, neither let them be afraid." Seems like a direction. All the time we hear about this peace, right? We hear about the peace that passes all understanding, the peace of God, right? and sometimes I can say I feel like I have that, and I've experienced that, and then sometimes, sometimes I don't. But I would say that the times I don't is the times that I'm not focusing on God, right? All while I'm focused on God, I have peace. Peace of mind and everything like that. I'm not necessarily worried or stressed about anything, and everything like that. However, on the flip side, when I'm not focused on God and I'm focused on the problem, I'm focused on an issue, I'm focused on, the world and I guess all the calamities that's in it, then I'm not, again, not focused on God. And so, and then now I'm not, my heart might not be at peace, or my mind might not be at peace, or, or whatever. So, again, I guess this is a clear example of why we should focus on God if we want peace, right? Especially peace of mind and everything like that. But, yeah, that was the first verse I came across this morning that, I guess, for me, tend to go hand in hand with this idea of focusing on God. Now, Isaiah 26:3 says, "You keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you." Again, I guess that just reiterates the other one to me. Same thing. He'll keep us in perfect peace. And it's like, why? Not to say why is that, but it already kind of sums it up in this verse. It says because he trusts in you, right? When you trust in God, then you're at peace. You understand that he, you're like that sheep by the by the river, whatever the case is, or you know that he's gonna take care of you. You know that he has you covered. I guess I know we don't do that, right? I know many of us are not at peace in this way, and it feels so much so that it feels strange to be at peace in this way. Sometimes, and maybe I've shared it here before, I don't know, but sometimes again, even sharing, being at peace in times of calamity, is I guess sometimes maybe even seen as foolish, right? I know my mom was talking about this the other day. She was talking about how, I guess that, when certain situations are going on and whatnot, she's, I guess trying to encourage me or my sister or whatever the case is to, we'll focus on God, do what you can and all of that, and let God handle the rest and everything. And yeah, I guess I try to live that way too. I try to, do what I can with what I have and go from there. All the while trying to, also trust God to handle things. And again, that can be weird for people that don't do that, right? Which is the majority. But I think the people that do that, they understand where I'm coming from. They understand these verses well, because like I told you guys earlier, yeah, I've experienced that peace. Like when, y'all have heard my testimony over the past year, and y'all know my situation and stuff. And so, but even in spite of all of that, God has just been providing. God has just been making a way. God has just been, taking care of basically all my earthly needs. So, even in moments where I guess I should be stressed or I should be worried or whatever, it's like there's been no reason for me to be. The interesting thing, there was a point in the prayer meditation where the guide, she was kind of talking to you to imagine as if you're at this table and all this, and basically was talking about, that there's all these dangers around you, and that's when, at the moment, when God arrives, he tells us to focus on him, and that you know that you're safe in the midst of all this stuff. And I feel like that's literally I guess a Christian in the world right now. Because again, there's so many things going on, right? There's so much, just so much, especially negative things. And so, but if we can find ourselves to be at peace by trusting God in the midst of all of this, then, I guess if you're looking for peace, right? If that's what you're looking for, then that's how you find it, even in the midst of all the calamity. The interesting thing is that kind of reminds me a little bit, one thing I forgot to tell y'all that happened actually yesterday is apparently that somebody was very perturbed with the Bible verse of today for yesterday. Because, I didn't go, Sundays I don't tend to, do the juice, but I still try to share the Bible verse of the day on our social media, our Instagram and Facebook. And so we shared the Bible verse of the day, which was centered around all things being possible with God. And the person comments, which the comment is no longer there now. I don't know if it got cleared up or whatever. I don't know. But the person comments, all things are possible or something like that, with the question mark or whatever the case is. And it was interesting because I saw it earlier that morning and I didn't necessarily respond to it. But eventually later on, I don't know. I would just say God. I just would say God just led me to respond at some point later on. And so I just was like, with God, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when the person wants to inbox me. So then they're inboxing me and, again, they're asking a question. And so I just pretty much copy and paste the Bible verse, because I just was like, well, this is what it says. And then so they asked, by their own words later on in the conversation, they asked a ludicrous question, which was basically, it was like, okay, so if I ask God if I can run 500 miles, then that's possible. 500 miles an hour or something like that. And obviously this is a question that he's like, I've asked several Christians this and nobody ever answers my question or whatever. And it was interesting because I typed this really long message to him and then I sent it and then it didn't go through. So I just was like, well, maybe the Lord didn't want me to respond. I don't know. But then eventually, and then it was like I couldn't see him no more, and I just was like, okay. And then next thing I know, he get messages again, and it was like hello or whatever, and I just was like, okay. Well, since you came back, John 3:16. Because I was just like, look, this is for everybody, right? John 3:16 is for everybody, and until you can wrap your head around that, you're probably not going to understand anything the Bible says. Whether it's that verse that I already gave you or not, the verse that is making you ask this quote unquote ludicrous question. And again, he says this later on in our conversation that it's ludicrous. I'm not calling it ludicrous. It was ludicrous because I'm like, it's like he's asking a question that he felt like he already had an answer to, right? So it's like, why are you asking me this question then? You already know, right? Or you already, apparently, in your mind, running 500 miles an hour is ludicrous. So, but you're asking me, right? Somebody that don't know you at all. I don't even know if you got legs, right? And you're asking me if God will allow you to run 500 miles. I don't know, sir, if he gonna allow you to run 500 miles. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, the word says, right, all things are possible. And that was the interesting thing, because at first, I had answered the question in the way that I felt the need to answer it. He still was talking about, oh, you're deflecting. At some point, I try to pass it over to my husband because I know he's good with the whole, he don't mind. Y'all talk. Listen. Y'all know I tell y'all all the time I don't like debate and I don't get into the whole thing, right? For whatever reason, it was like, yeah, and that's what was comical to me at some point, because eventually I just was like, okay, Lord, you must be working on something in me. You want me to be able to discuss this stuff. You want me to be able to go back and forth in a way where it's not. It was at first I was getting not nervous. I wasn't nervous or I wasn't upset either. But it just was like, why are you asking me this question that you already feel like you have the answer to? You know what I mean? And so that part could get kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Because it's like, what is your purpose? And for me, it's like I will get straight to that. and stop playing around with this question you asked. It ain't about running 500 miles. It's about you not believing what the word says. You know what I mean? And it's like I already break it down to what it really is, and you still trying to talk about the 500 miles. So anyway, I tried to pass it off to my husband, but my husband was like, I can't think of a way to respond to this without being rude. And so the interesting thing was, soon after he gave me my phone back, a response came to my heart and mind. And so I sent that. And basically the response that I said to him was, well, according to the Bible, yes, you can run 500 miles per hour. But I guess we won't know because you don't believe. I thought that would be the end of the conversation, but it was not. I was like, maybe he'll just go ahead and say touche and leave me alone. But no, he keeps the conversation going. He's like, oh, you're deflecting. Oh, and then he goes on to talk about cancer and all these different things. Or he talks about like, oh, well, people, there's people that train to run and all this different stuff. So if it's possible, then why wouldn't they just pray X, Y, and Z? Sir, and I'm like, sir, you asking me why other people don't pray to God for something. Like, I can't answer that question why you or anybody else don't pray or believe that that all things are possible with him. Like, at the end of the day, your question don't change what the Bible say. So why you asking? You know what I mean? It's like, why are you asking me? At the end of the day, I'm like, so you're trying to sway my belief. That's what you're trying to do right now. But at the end of the day, perhaps this whole moment is orchestrated by God to help sway your belief, because you're not going to sway my belief. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the words say what it say. Now, we can believe that or not. And it's clear that we don't believe, right? Because if so, then perhaps maybe God would be, many more of us will be doing many other miraculous things. I mean, I'm sure anything that is miraculous, including myself, you know what I'm saying? But not trying to, I'm not puffing myself up. I'm just saying, I already told you my testimony about me being here and everything like that. So what I'm saying is miraculous things, right, is possible every day, right? And for those that believe, and it's like he's over here, he brings up cancer, he brings up all these things. Why are these things going on? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, look, sir, like, and he's like, well, why don't you ask God to do? I'm like, well, here's my thing, sir. I don't have to ask God for what you want me to ask God for, but I could just say this right here. The things that I have to ask God for in my life, I've seen those things happen. I'm living those things now. And, you can't take away from my personal experience that I've had with God, and vice versa. I just straight up asked him at some point. It was interesting. This is probably the most interesting part, and I might need to stop talking about it, because I might keep talking about it after the show. We'll see. But the interesting part was when I spoke to the Spirit. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm thinking about my home. I am trying to be funny right now. I'm thinking about my homeboy, because I'm being too real with y'all. I'm too real with y'all, just like I am with my friends. So when I spoke to that Spirit, anywho, when I spoke to the Spirit, because for me, it's like persecution comes in a lot of forms, right? So for me, that's what the whole interaction was. It was persecution, and it was him trying to sway my belief to unbelieve in what the word says. And so that's what the interaction was to me, and I already knew what it was. So I asked him, I asked him, like, well, do you believe in the God of the Bible? He straight up was like, no. I said, okay. I wanted to ask. I didn't want to assume, right? I didn't want to assume. I wanted to ask. So you've said no. Okay? So why do you care about what the Bible says? Why are we sitting here having this conversation right now? You care so much about what the Bible says that you are having this. I don't know how long it went, y'all. It was a back and forth. Like, I don't know. It was a rather lengthy conversation trying to sway me to believe or to not believe what the word says. And at some point he did call me a fool or something along those lines, or something. And but still, even in that moment, I wasn't even upset about that. I just was like, I guess, reasoning back with him the way he's reasoning with me. Because then he's like, well, it's ludicrous for somebody to run 500 miles. It can't happen, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, if it's ludicrous, why did you even ask me this question? You the one, you brought this up. he's like, because, if you believe X, Y, and Z, you believe that you can run 500 miles. I said, no. I said, I believe in God and the Bible. That's what I believe in. You was talking about 500 miles, not me. I didn't come to this conversation and say, hey, I believe everybody can run 500 miles per hour. You said that. You asked that question. So if you felt like it was a ludicrous question, which he said, then why are you asking the ludicrous question? You're trying to sway my belief. And what you're really doing right now is letting me know that there's a blessing around the corner, because here comes some persecution when there's a blessing around the corner trying to get me to not believe the way I do, and I guess to not do the things I'm doing, which is have the GSL platform and maybe even this, right? Because I told y'all I even woke up at 5 this morning, whole hour after when I usually wake up. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Maybe this message is needed today. I don't know. I'm gonna try to stop talking about that for a moment so I can go ahead and finish the juice. But it was an interesting conversation, needless to say. I guess I got the last word. Which is fine. I mean, not to be like whoever gets the last words wins. I mean, it was fine. You know what? At that point, I was like, I could even have you on the show, and I think I'd be still fine to have this conversation with you. So at the end of the day, I guess it's about reasoning with people. And I was actually observing Pastor David Lynn do this yesterday as well. When I was watching a video, I guess before I went to sleep, a little bit before I went to sleep. He's just very good and patient with people and whatnot. Well, depending on the person, right, and depending on the spirit they come to him with. But yeah, it was interesting because like as soon as I said this to the person, thank you for letting me know that there's a blessing around the corner. And then he's like, let's get back to the subject at hand or something. I was like, okay. It's like, And then I had said something about, I said, hey, to the human, I'm going to talk to the human behind this whole message right now. I would ask myself if I want to continue to be led by the spirit that I am currently being led by, because according to the Bible that you say you don't care about, but we're having this whole conversation about, it don't look good for you. And then that's when he was like, let's go back to the subject. Oh, now you want to go back to talking about 500 miles and all that. Got it. Okay. That spirit didn't want to get that human to start thinking. But anywho, but that's all right. That's all right. Let me keep going. Let me go ahead and give you guys this verse right here. Check it out, y'all. 2 Timothy 2:22. It says, so flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace along with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. And that's what it boils down to, y'all. At the end of the day, you gotta have the heart, right? You have to have the heart and mind to be open to what the word is saying. And if you don't have that, then you're not going to understand it. And that is even in the word too. It's like I can sit here and say all the things that the Bible says, but at the end of the day, if you're not familiar with it, right? If your heart and mind isn't open, then you're not going to be able to receive it. And so, yeah, the verse that you got so much issue with, right? You had so much issue with the idea of all things being possible. And you want to say that it's a fact that it's not possible. No, it's a fact that a majority of us don't believe. Therefore, to those that don't believe, it's not possible. But to those that do believe, very much has been possible in people's lives. They've seen miraculous things, and and that's what it boils down to. And even if they don't see miraculous things, they understand, or they know, or they trust God. A lot of people, again, he wants to bring up like, well, why are people doing this and that? Why are people doing this? I don't know why people aren't doing this or that. I don't know why people don't pray for this or that. Some do, some don't, right? I would say the majority that do have seen supernatural and miraculous things happen in their life, and yeah. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I got a little choco. Y'all can go deeper, right, and check out a few verses. Hopefully they will encourage and inspire you this morning to focus on God and again, not lean to our own understanding and all that. But the Bible verse of today is 1 Corinthians 13:1. It says, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass, or a tingling cymbal. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juicy spoon. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow. If you want to swim. Bye-bye. This podcast has been brought to you in part by Inspirational Therapy Session Incorporated, inspiring teens since 2002.